Hey guys, Leah Michelle, Resistance Chicks. It is February 15th, 2017. Many of you are aware of General Flynn's resignation, but there's kind of a little bit more of a conspiracy.
You didn't think this was going to be an easy road. You didn't think that the left liberal crazies were just going to
let go,
lay down. You didn't think that there was trolls and moles and everything in what's called the deep state. And when you talk about the deep state, that's the permanent guys in government, people that aren't appointed, positions that don't change. The FBI, the CIA.
Wait a minute. A little lip gloss there. I take care of you.
Thank you. All these different positions. Now, what fueled me was the fact that WikiLeaks is actually coming out saying that there is a literal war happening right now between the IC, the intelligence communities, and the Trump administration. And this is the first, I would say, setback for so far that Donald Trump has been able to hold the line and hold the line and hold the line. But when I heard that General Flynn had resigned, my gut, it was like somebody had hit me in the gut. Not because I necessarily have a tie to this person, but in my spirit, I just knew, and I know that he's one of the good guys.
Right. I feel
that
the same way. Everybody
else in there, even Kellyanne Conway, even Steve Bannon too, they have like their own kind of personal agenda. This General Flynn was going to be there and serve the American people.
Right.
And he was just a good man. And he, I think, more or less resigned because he's never been a part of such a circus. You know? When you read his resignation, he doesn't admit to doing anything wrong. And to explain what they're saying, just FYI, we've all seen the movies. Whenever they come out and they explain, usually Donald Trump has been very good about it. I think in this case, it's kind of like we come into you and we're reporting on news, but we're not exactly there.
Right.
So I think with this particular situation, Trump got some pieces of news.
Yeah.
And he acted on it quickly. And then now he might be backtracking on himself a little bit. This is the little clip where Trump today addresses Flynn and the intelligence community, and it's really good.
And secondly, on the settlement issue, are you both on the same page? How do you exactly term that as it relates to the settlement issue? Thank you.
Michael Flynn, General Flynn, is a wonderful man. I think he's been treated very, very unfairly by the media, as I call it, the fake media in many cases. And I think it's really a sad thing that he was treated so badly. I think in addition to that, from intelligence, papers are being leaked, things are being leaked. It's criminal action, criminal act, and it's been going on for a long time. Before me, but now it's really going on. And people are trying to cover up for a terrible loss that the Democrats had under Hillary Clinton. I think it's very, very unfair what's happened to General Flynn, the way he was treated, and the documents and papers that were illegally, I stress that, illegally leaked. Very, very unfair. As far as settlements, I'd like to see you hold back.
So there's that. I just wanted to put that in there with Donald Trump, kind of basically laying it all out there.
Yeah.
So you can stump it, and I'll just add that in there maybe in the beginning.
On settlements for a little bit.
And I just want to read the final line to this article in Bloomberg, who actually Trump thanked in a tweet, which says, first it's Flynn. Next it will be Kellyanne Conway, then it will be Steve Bannon, and then it will be Reince Priebus. He said, put another way, Flynn is only the appetizer, Trump is the entree. Now,
So they're trying to pick off these people one by one, and you don't know what kind of backdoor deals are happening, blackmail, just different things like that. Like even threats. You have no idea what is happening, so that they can pick off these people one by one.
From what I've been reading, what I'm understanding, a lot of people don't like Reince Priebus because he is the Republican National Committee leader in Washington. He's an insiders, and he's been trying to get people in who gave to the Republican Party, gave to Trump.
Right.
He's been trying to get them positions. He's been unilaterally making decisions. And from what I've been reading, from what I've been picking up, is that he was the little snot nose who leaked a lot of this stuff. Now, it's really interesting, and I want you guys to pray, because this is actually really serious. Like, we come to you joking. I'm not going to really joke about this one, because this is serious. You guys are so happy that Trump got in office, but even if you don't believe there's a spiritual battle, which we know there's a spiritual battle happening, there are people trying to take him down. We see all the little tiny riots that you see, and the tweets from Hillary Clinton and the
They're
and
almost
the
like
celebrities.
a distraction, like firecrackers,
Right.
for a big fireworks show.
So this particularly was disturbing. A former National Security Agency analyst says the U.S. intelligence community is preparing to go nuclear with President Donald Trump. John Schindler, who spent nearly a decade inside the NSA as an intelligence analyst and counterintelligence officer, stated Wednesday that a senior intelligence source said Trump will die in jail following a series of tweets concerning recent leaks. Now we go nuclear. I see war going to new levels, Schindler wrote. Just got an EM from senior IC friend. It began, he will die in jail. And then what's interesting is that Trump, I'll just bring up Trump's tweets. He's been tweeting crazy things. He's trying to do things like, oh, great parent-teacher listening session this morning with Vice President Pence. But then at the same time, he's got to do, like, the fake news media is going crazy with their conspiracy theories and blind hatred. MSNBC and CNN are unwatchable. Fox and Friends is great. This Russian connection nonsense is merely an attempt to cover up the many mistakes made in Hillary Clinton's losing campaign. That I know, okay? And they're trying to put the issue of Flynn's resignation is that the FBI had hacked this Russian intelligence person's, Russian ambassador's phone. There was a phone call between Flynn and this guy. And from what I understand, first of all, why did they hack this, and why are they listening? Are they listening to everyone?
Because they can, yes.
All the time?
Yes, they are.
And we go back to Bloomberg. Because this is the political assassination of Michael Flynn. They literally assassinated a really good man and a good American.
And they've only assassinated his career right now.
Right.
When he turns up dead from a heart attack, please, God, don't let that happen. But I'm just saying.
If we are to believe the Trump White House, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn just resigned because he lied about his conversations with Russian ambassador to the vice president. As White House senior counselor Kellyanne Conway told NBC's Today Show on Tuesday, misleading the vice president really was the key here. That sounds about as credible as when the president told CIA employees that the media had invented the story about his enmity toward the spy agency, not even 2 weeks after he had taken to Twitter to compare the CIA to Nazis. It's about as credible as President Donald Trump's insistence that it didn't rain during his inauguration, or that millions of people had voted illegally in the election he just won. Now, we are going to put those things aside. This is one of those articles that leans left, but is actually speaking some truth. The point here is that for a White House that has such a casual and opportunistic relationship with the truth, it's strange that Flynn's lie to Pence would get him fired. It doesn't add up. It's not even clear that Flynn lied. And this is what I wanted to get to. He says in his resignation letter that he did not deliberately leave out elements of his conversation with Ambassador Sergei Kilslyak when he recounted them to Vice President Mike Pence. The New York Times and Washington Post reported that the transcript of the phone call reviewed over the weekend by the White House could be read different ways.
And here's the thing, it's like, why do they even have a transcript of the phone call?
Why did they hack them? Why are they listening in to a general's conversations in the first place? And why would you take them and use them? And why would you leak them? This is me being incredibly calm, because right inside of me, I'm a volcano. You don't leak these things to the Washington Post and to the New York Times unless
you have an agenda.
This is illegal. This is criminal behavior. It's just mind-boggling, and you should be deeply concerned that they were being tapped at all. And then to top it all off, I mean, this is unbelievable. One White House official with knowledge of the conversations told me that the Russian ambassador raised the sanctions to Flynn, and that Flynn responded that Trump team would be taking office in a few weeks and would review Russian policy and sanctions. That's neither illegal nor improper. We're gonna meet you. We're gonna look at him. There is nothing wrong with this. This man did nothing wrong. There is something else going on here. What's more, the Washington Post reported Monday night that last month Sally Yates, then the acting Attorney General, had informed the White House that Flynn discussed sanctions with Kislyak and that he would be susceptible to blackmail because he misled Pence about it.
And we all need to go back to how much we love Sally Yates.
If it was the lie to Pence that sunk Flynn, why was he not fired at the end of January? A better explanation here is that Flynn was just thrown under the bus. His tenure as National Security Advisor, the briefest in U.S. history, was rocky from the start. When Flynn was attacked in the media for his ties to Russia, he was not allowed by the White House to defend himself.
Wow.
Over the weekend, he was instructed not to speak to the press when he was in the fight for his political life. His staff was not even allowed to review the transcripts of his call. To look back, okay, I have to tell you something that if you told me I said something in one of these videos, and then you didn't let me go back and review it, I might not know that I had said it.
Right.
Because sometimes you think things, you say things, I thought I said it, did I
Right.
say it?
Yeah.
What exactly did I say? Because I know what I meant.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So they weren't even allowed to review them. Okay, so you can link them to the New York Times, but you can't let the person who said them read them? Jeez. There is another component to this story as well, as Trump himself just tweeted. It's very rare that reporters are ever told about government-monitored communications of U.S. citizens, let alone senior U.S. officials. The last story like this hit Washington was in 2009 when Jeff Stein, then CQ, reported intercepted phone calls between a senior IPAC lobbyist and Jane Harman, who at the time was a Democratic member of Congress. Normally, intercepts of U.S. officials and citizens are some of the most tightly held government secrets. This is for good reason. Selectively disclosing details of private conversations monitored by the FBI or NSA gives the permanent state, the deep state, the power to destroy reputations from the cloak of anonymity. This is what police states do. Now,
so you can kind of get a feel for where their agenda is headed. To have this police state type.
well, it's what we have had.
Well, exactly.
And
But
if
I'm just saying
there's-
they would like to make they want to take Trump down because they want it to become solidified.
But there is a silver lining,
I love silver linings.
and you guys just saw it. This is what the deep state, police state, has been doing and is doing. And the more we uncover...
Expose it.
And expose it. And you could say maybe Flynn was a sacrificed piece. I pray that he comes back.
Yeah.
You need more men like him. Good men. And it goes on to say, he's like, I'm bowing out. I'm not going to defend myself against this crazy
I don't
craziness.
blame him because in all honesty, I feel like if he had tried to fight it, he really would have been killed.
Oh, sure.
Thank God he's alive, but I'm telling you, these people mean business.
In the past, it was considered scandalous for senior U.S. officials to even request the identities of U.S. officials incidentally monitored by the government. Normally, they are redacted from intelligence reports. John Bolton's nomination to the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations was derailed in 2006 after the NSA confirmed he had made 10 such requests. It goes on. Representative Devin Nunes, the Republican chairman of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, told me Monday that he saw the leaks about Flynn's conversations with Kislyak as part of a pattern. There does appear to be a well-orchestrated effort deep inside the deep state, and Alex Jones has been talking about this a lot.
On InfoWars.
Because here's the thing, Roger Stone is named with two other men who are being investigated under the FBI with ties to Russia.
Wow.
I know. From the leaking of phone calls between the president and foreign leaders to what appears to be high-level FISA court information to the leaks of American citizens being denied security clearances, it looks like a pattern. Nunes said he was going to bring this up with the FBI and asked the agency to investigate the leak and find out whether Flynn himself is a target of a law enforcement investigation. The Washington Post reported last month that Flynn was not the target of an FBI probe. The background here is important. 3 people once affiliated with Trump's presidential campaign, Carter Page, Paul Manafort, and Roger Stone, are being investigated by the FBI and the intelligence community for their contacts with the Russian government. This is a part of a wider inquiry into Russia's role in hacking and distributing emails of leading Democrats before the election. Flynn himself traveled in 2015 to Russia to attend a conference. This is so funny. Put on by the country's propaganda network RT. He has acknowledged he was paid through his speaker's bureau for this appearance. That doesn't look good, but it's not illegal in and of itself. It's kind of like if you went to CNN for a conference. Okay, we realize that CNN has its way of painting news and RT has its way of painting news, and so it's like, ooh, he went there. I mean, like, seriously? Are you joking me? And all of this is to say there are many unanswered questions about Trump's and his administration's ties to Russia. But that's all these allegations are at this point, unanswered questions. It's possible that Flynn has more ties to Russia that he had kept from the public. Oh, it's possible. It's also possible that a group of national security bureaucrats from former Obama officials are selectively leaking highly sensitive law enforcement information to undermine the elected government.
I'm going to go with the latter.
B. I'm going to go with B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't tit for tat? Does
Peanut
the
gallery.
FBI have to investigate Clinton when she was in the State Department and her husband received payment for speeches? So
Shoot, man.
We could go
it's
into that
just,
all day
yeah,
long.
beyond.
now the FBI has to investigate Clinton. If they're going to investigate
Have to is a very
and
lucrative
Trump,
word. It's,
to be fair, they have
Well,
to
they're
treat
not-
they are not
everyone
going to do it. They're
equally.
not fair, or they wouldn't be doing
They have
this.
to treat everyone equally.
Mom.
You have to insist. That's what you're on.
I'm
Okay,
insisting.
our mom is wanting us to demand FBI. You have to act accordingly. So if you're going to go and
So they don't
investigate
show
this
any
General
bias.
Flynn and all this stuff that's going on, then tit for tat, my mama said. She said you got to investigate Clinton and the fact that her husband was receiving lots of funds for speeches when
Hundreds
she
of
was
thousands of
millions of dollars when she was Secretary of State.
or their word cannot be taken.
Or we can't
as
take your
unbiased.
word as unbiased. And my mama, resistance chicks, mama said y'all gotta do it.
They have to prove
You
themselves
have to do it. You gotta
innocent.
You have to
prove yourselves
Unbiased.
innocent, FBI.
CIA,
We don't- resistance chick, mama, you
NSA
don't
have
want.
to prove themselves unbiased, and they'll attack Clinton, anybody, because they're up for the wall. That's all about the law and upholding
Yeah,
the
exactly. All right. So
law. They have to prove
FBI
themselves
people,
before they attack
you don't
somebody
want a
else.
resistance chick, mama, coming up into your office. All right, yelling at you, cause I know you don't want it. You don't want this to happen. So there you go. That's right. Be afraid. Start shaking. You better go investigate them Clintons. You think Russia's scary? You think China's scary? Resistance chick, mama, she's scary. That's what right there. She
Flynn
tell
was
you
a
what
fat
for.
target for the national security state. He has
Isn't it
cultivated.
the power of God or God himself you should be afraid of?
It is the power of God. She said, don't be
He
afraid of
works
me,
for
be afraid
us.
of the power of God. But I'm telling you, she knows she can call down that Almighty. That's right.
All right, he
He's
has
Batman.
cultivated a reputation as a former and a fierce critic of the intelligence community leaders he once served with when he was director of the Defense Intelligence Agency under Barack Obama. And Flynn was working to reform the intelligence industrial complex. It's kind of like when the bugs know that you're getting ready to bomb the house.
Because you know them bugs know it.
They're going to come and attack you so that you can't get rid of them.
They know that you've been planning on getting rid of the bugs. You went and bought the bug bombs, and the night before you go to bomb them, and you're laying in bed, and they are crawling up your nose into your body and hatching eggs.
Pretty much what's happening. He's just...
They know,
Flynn was going to go in and straighten things out, and that's why he's gone.
right?
Because they like what they're doing. They're taking lucrative deals. They're taking lucrative cuts. They're not actually doing work for you American people. Yeah, right.
I think they just kind of sit back and they look like, look what we just did, and then they laugh.
So, let's see. Remember Flynn's breakout national moment last summer when he joined the crowd at the Republican National Convention with a dais calling for Hillary Clinton to be jailed?
See, my mama knew what was going to be in this article before we even read it.
In normal times, the idea... I read it, though.
But she didn't read
In
it.
normal times, the idea that U.S. officials entrusted with our most sensitive secrets would selectively disclose them to undermine the White House would alarm those worried about creeping authoritarianism. Imagine if intercepts of a call between Obama's incoming national security advisor and Iran's foreign minister leaked to the press before the nuclear negotiations began. The howls of indignation would be deafening. In the end, it was Trump's decision to cut Flynn loose. Was it really? In doing this, he caved into his political and bureaucratic oppression. Opposition, sorry. Nunes told me Monday night that this would not end well. First it's Flynn, next Kelly Conway. And so, when you go back to the guy who was leaking information, not talking about the leaks information, said that they're going to go nuclear, I see war on new levels, just got, this from a friend. Trump was saying the real scandal here is that classified information is illegally given out by intelligence like candy. Very un-American, and that was actually this morning. Another tweet made specific mention of the New York Times. I think I read that one. Information is being illegally given to failing, I don't think I read that one, failing New York Times and Washington Post by the intelligence community, NSA and FBI, ? Just like Russia. Trump's tweets followed both the resignation of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and new leaks alleging repeated contact between Russian intelligence and the Trump campaign. This is absurd, Paul Manafort, Trump's former campaign chairman, told the New York Times Tuesday. I have no idea what this is referring to. I have never knowingly spoken to Russian intelligence officers, and I've never been involved in anything to do with Russian government or the Putin administration. What I love here is it's not like these people wear badges and say, I'm a Russian intelligence officer.
Yeah, they usually kind of keep that on the down low.
Right.
A little bit.
So you've got Bill Crystal over here who is saying that he actually backs the deep state to out and to have a coup. I mean, this is some pretty intense words here.
I think a lot of things are being promises are probably being made to people.
Right.
All right, if we actually do,
Exactly.
you call it a coup, I call it a mutiny. If we actually do make this happen, then you get this position or whatever.
He says this, and I don't understand. I mean, you can tweet assassinate Trump. You can say Madonna could say she wants to go blow up the White House. They can do the most vile things. He said foreign policy hawk Bill Crystal tweeted out his political preference for a political victory by the deep state above the nation's laws and over President Donald Trump's voters and policies amid an increasing furor over the forced resignation of General Mike Flynn. Obviously, strongly prefer normal democratic and constitutional politics where we just kind of just take you over without, with you thinking that you're with us. But if it comes to it, I prefer the deep state to the Trump state. The deep state is jargon for the semi-hidden army of bureaucrats, officials, retired officials, legislators, contractors, and media people who support and defend established government policies. Those deep state officials include intelligence, law enforcement, and national security officials who worked in President Barack Obama's administration, but who are still working in a permanent or temporary positions in the White House and in surrounding agencies. But Bill Crystal actually says Flynn's resignation seems a bit like Watergate. Democrats, media, and the IC went after Nixon and in some ways unfairly. Still, he was guilty. But Flynn isn't guilty. And he's admitting that it is Democrats, the media, and the IC taking people down right and left. And so
I don't know if any of you guys actually read Glenn Beck's Agenda 21 book, but this is what comes to mind. It kind of starts off the book without giving you a backstory of how they got to this place where the state controls everything and people live in these communes and things like that. But this really, in places like this is where it starts. The silver lining is the American people, they're not going to let this happen.
No.
But the fact that there's a threat of it on the horizon means that we need to be prepared. For those of you that are Christians, you need to be getting on your knees and praying for the right people and praying because this is a spiritual battle, okay, that's happening. We do not battle against flesh and blood, but against rulers and principalities of high places.
So, do you remember Schumer and Schumer's tears?
Schumer's fake tears. You cannot forget that.
So, he actually kind of told us that this was going to happen.
unprecedented pronouncement on the intelligence community. This was his tweet just a little while ago tonight. You see the scare quotes there. The intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time
This is from
needed to
before
build
the
the case.
inauguration.
Very strange. We're actually told, intelligence sources tell NBC News since this tweet has been posted, that actually this intelligence briefing for the president-elect was always planned for Friday. It hasn't been delayed. But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know,
to?
but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them. And we need the intelligence community.
I'm going to play that right again right here.
But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
Wow. We have to speak out. We have to get the word out because you can't stop a freight train, right? They can only, police officers are really only a threat, because they can just pull off one at a time, and so then they keep people in check. And so, not that the police are bad, we support
Muslims
the
are
police.
really good at that.
But
Get a whole bunch
it's
of
the
people
same
going wrong.
theory, everybody has to, you just need to kind of force them to back down.
One more thing I wanted to point out here was WikiLeaks has actually come out with a tweet that says Trump's national security advisor Michael Flynn resigns after destabilization campaign by U.S. spies and Democrats.
And then they have a link there.
And Julian Assange says, amazing battle for dominance is playing out between the elected U.S. government and the IC who consider themselves to be the permanent government.
Which is really interesting because they're not elected.
Right.
And so that's what's the scary thing. They really do, these people view themselves as the government.
They're lifers. That's like, this is our, you don't come against us. We actually run the government.
Right.
It's actually pretty...
Yeah, so it's kind of like a battle of the ages. Dun, dun, dun.
So we're still battling. Everybody, I know you in Europe.
Oh,
you're
we won.
looking
Yeah.
for. You're like, yay, Trump won, and then things would just go on normally. I know that you haven't even gotten your Brexit through. But here's the thing: there's just, Obama's planning things. They haven't given up. Okay,
Right.
Now I remember Alex Jones saying they're dying and the ship is going down, but what are they going to try? While
Right.
they try to keep it going. So.
Exactly.
Lock her up.
Okay.
Lock her up.
This is
the cut off the head of the snakes.
Exactly. This is Leah Michelle, Resistance Chick,
Somebody
signing
said that
off.
she was gonna run
Where
again
it
in
is
2020.
not a conspiracy theory. If it's the truth, no one would vote for her. Nobody's gonna-
wants
he needs
to
to
get,
just.
his theory is that he wants to get Trump out and get Hillary in, or have a whole new election.
Okay, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks, and find us on Facebook where we can interact with you there on a daily basis. We love you guys. God bless. Do you want to keep talking to them?
No, I just come back for another time.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid, but you called my name.